Welcome. This is a review of working at Swansea Bay Health Board organization, and I was an employee there in August 2021, and I applied to be as a domestic cleaner because obviously I don't have any medical qualifications or any qualifications in healthcare related fields. Therefore, the most successful way for me to work within a healthcare facility is a job that requires not much experience or qualifications, and being a domestic cleaner is one of those jobs that doesn't require you to have that. My experience working with them, it was very underwhelming. I mean, you would go in and somebody would give you a word that you would be assigned to for the rest of the day. The typical hourly shift was 8 hours, and in those 8 hours you would pretty much have to stay within a ward and just clean it over and over and over. And some wards were very busy, they had a lot of patients, and in those particularly busy wards you would be tasked with making coffee and tea as well for the patients, particularly the sickly patients, those who kind of struggled with their mobility, get their energy, getting out of bed, pain free. You would be tasked with offering them a coffee and tea service. And some patients were very specific. They would have their own like bags of coffee that they wanted because they didn't like the standard fare on offer within the ward itself. But mostly, people, accepted what was on offer for them, and didn't make a big fuss out of it. Personally, like I said, the job was quite straightforward. There was the most basic cleaning tasks. You would have to, wipe floors, wipe surfaces, mop floors, clean toilets and sinks, and that was pretty much it. Really, it was quite a standardized cleaning environment. You would have to obviously dispose of rubbish in the various bin compartment, but yeah, from a personal perspective, obviously I didn't really like the environment because it's a hospital environment, so I felt it was too austere, too dull almost, because obviously it wasn't fun being in there. Most people that visit hospital, go there because of health issues, and so it's not a particularly upbeat environment to be part of, which kind of made it a little bit monotonous, after a certain amount of hours, and particularly as the job itself wasn't particularly exciting. It was just ultimately all we were doing was just cleaning over and over. But I personally didn't get much value from the experience. I didn't meet anybody interesting. I didn't really build any positive connections, and ultimately, I felt like you were not really warmly embraced by the staff there. Yes, they kind of accepted you being there, but it wasn't like you were warmly welcomed within wards and within managers themselves. It's almost as if they went out of their way to kind of see how happy you were with the job. But ultimately, as somebody who struggled to find good work opportunities, it was something that I had to compromise on, and I tried to stay there for as long as I could. But after a while, it just became too much. I felt like there was no real future to build upon, no foundations. So I had to pretty much leave the organization. But my takeaway is that unless you're passionate about healthcare, unless you have strong background, skills and experience, it's probably to avoid working in the NHS, because most people that work there are not particularly friendly, and also it's not a particularly aspiring environment to be part of. But let me know what your experience is. If you worked at Swansea Bay University Health Board, or if you worked in other health boards around England and Wales, have you managed to find the experience valuable, career enhancing, and if so, how did you do that, and how did you progress within your organization?